Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Roblox Nostalgia. Today we're going to be looking at Survive the Disasters by Virus Dev. We'll also be taking a look at Survive the Disasters 2, also made by the same person, direct sequel to this game. Now I'm going to preface this by saying that I prefer this game way more than Natural Disaster Survival. I genuinely think this game is much better, and in my opinion, way more fun. But we'll go into that more later. Right now, let's take a quick look at some of these, normal things we take a look at here before we actually hop in the game. Like the description here, it seems like they've had their last actual content changes. I'm gonna say changes and not really update, but content has been changed back like 3-ish years ago almost. Currently, I'm recording this on November 23rd, so yeah, a couple years ago, 3 years ago roughly. But yeah, they haven't really made anything different, but they have fixed some things, it seems, and they've changed some things. I don't think they've actually made anything new, though. But yeah, you've also got here a description of the game. Pretty simple stuff to understand. I mean, you just survive the disasters. Looking at the ratios here for the likes, it's pretty good. 400,000, 91% like this game. That is a really good number, pretty high, and understandably high, because honestly, this game I think is way better. But, everyone has their opinions, so I could be, gassing this game up. It might be a bit of bias, but I am going to say that this game seems way more content-filled. I think it has more variety than Natural Disaster Survival, which gets pretty repetitive really easily. This game, however, has such a huge variety, I don't think I could get bored of it. Unfortunately, though, we all only have so much time, so, I don't spend all day here. Anyways, moving on with that, we've got 222 million visits total throughout this game's lifetime, and this was made back in 2009, so a year after Natural Disaster Survival. Also has 63 currently active right now, which is not bad, but you can tell that this game, much like other games we've looked at, it's already reached its peak, and it's pretty much on its drop-off to dying. Hopefully that never happens, but honestly, with how most games go these days, it's bound to happen eventually. Of course, this is an OG game, so hopefully people come back to it, even if it's just like 14 people a day, and at least the game won't be entirely dead. Anyways, so yeah, like we said before, it was made in 2009. It was actually made, it's coming up on its anniversary, 11/26. Today is November 23rd, so yeah, pretty good. Got its anniversary coming up in 3 days. Meanwhile, it's been updated this year, just a couple months ago, which is pretty nice to see that it's still supported. As for badges, when I tried to look this earlier, this button wasn't showing up, so I just took pictures of some of them. I'll put those up on screen as I'm looking through some of these here. But yeah, you can see you've got all kinds of badges, alright? Huge variety to get, and honestly, once we look at the second game, there will be so many more badges, but we're not going to be looking at that right now. As for subscriptions and passes, pretty simple. You've got the classic VIP kinds of passes that lots of old games used to have back then. Like, usually be in a room, and if you had the Game Pass, or if you had a shirt on, you would be able to actually enter that room. Now, moving on from that, you've also got these other items here that you can use in-game. Fusion Coil, which I assume is a combination of coils, namely the Speed, Gravity, and Healing Coil. Silver Ninja Star, which is a Silver Ninja Star, and the Game Master Sword. Yeah, we're going to be taking a look at that. Oh, seems like I've been exited out, but we'll be taking a look at that very shortly. And actually, we'll be taking a look at that right now. I think we've just gone over all the important stuff, so let's go ahead and hop in. So yeah. Now that we're in the game here, I'm going to go ahead, turn off the volume just in case things start to sound a bit too loud and, crowd out my voice. But I want to take a note of the spawn here and the shop. The spawn here is pretty simple. What's cool about it is that you can actually spawn in whenever. You won't be stuck waiting up here even if you die mid-disaster. Now, currently we're in intermission, so I'll be looking at that shortly. But right now, let's take a look at the shop here. Lots of old games would have these credits or just text on parts and not really, on a sign or whatever. Or they would have it like this, just made out of simple parts. But yeah. So currently we've got a disaster going on, and right now I'm gonna go ahead and show you what happens when you die. You actually just respawn, and you can keep playing. Now, of course, at the end of the round, it won't show you up in the list of people who survived because, you know, you died, but at least you can still enjoy the game. But yeah, you got the credits here on top of the shop for the map and current music playing, which we have needed right now. You've also got a bunch of different gears you can buy, and that's kind of why I like this game way more. You don't really have to spend Robux on it, but of course you can. Like right here, as I mentioned before, you can buy the Game Master Sword with Robux, or you can use the in-game currency, points, which you gain from surviving rounds. So, taking a quick look at some of these, you've got, you know, simple, well, now you can't really see it, but you've got simple gag items, you got the coils, a couple other items, you've got a hoverboard, jetpacks, and grappling hooks. I'm assuming the jetpack and the grappling hook still works. I could be wrong, though. I mean, these are some pretty old gears we're looking at right now. Especially, you know, the coils and the Plexi Cola gears. Of course, the coils still work. They always have, and I think they always will. Hopefully, I don't see how they would possibly break, but you know, I'm glad those classic things still exist today. But yeah, you've got some gag items there as well. You know, the Bloxy Cola, the cheeseburger or cheeseburger, and yeah, moving on to the map here. There's not a whole lot to look at, but most of them follow this general pattern. You actually have a pretty, I would say this is a bigger map than natural disaster survival, because you know how in natural disaster survival you would have this little simple island you would survive on. Meanwhile, I just died, but meanwhile, you actually have a much larger map to go around on, and although there isn't a whole lot going on here, it's got a bit more detail going into it. You know, you can see the fishes here, some pretty old meshes, but especially this treasure chest. This is such an old graphic for treasure chests. But yeah, simple parts, honestly, overall. Nothing too crazy. Just like with the natural disaster survival, you don't really have anything smooth and rounded out, except for, I guess, these little guys right here, these meshes. And I guess the black hole, that's pretty rounded out. But yeah, you've got that going on. And just take a look at this already destroyed building. You've got, you know, nothing crazy. You got a cylinder, and mostly just made out of rectangles or blocks, parts, squares, you know. But that's not too much to look at in this game. I think there's a whole lot more to look at in the sequel game, and I do actually want to get into that right now. Alright, so this is Survive the Disasters 2, like I said, made by the same person, and as far as thumbnails go, I couldn't really find anything that actually showed the game. Most of these are just patch logs, as you can see here, but yeah, it does have this thumbnail, so it's pretty cool, I guess. I just wish it was actually showing up here. Anyways, on the description here, you actually got some bonuses here on the weekend. Currently, it is Saturday, so 2 times coins bonus is active. And of course, like the last game, or I should specify, Survive the Disasters, as in last game, they've got the description explaining the game here. Definitely worded differently, but, you know, same premise. And they actually have a credit here for the person who made most of the music for this game. So yeah, shout out to that guy, I guess. Now, while this like and dislike ratio is lower than, you know, the older game here, do note that this actually has less votes, less total votes overall. And besides, this is still a pretty high and good number regardless, but yeah. Anyways, as for current active players, that's about the same as the classic version, and honestly, I think this game could be doing a lot better if it was advertised more, you know, if it was actually put out there, but unfortunately not many people have heard of this game, and most of the people who have played this game honestly probably don't play Roblox anymore, so yeah, these numbers are going to stay a bit low for a while, unless this game somehow gets a huge player wave, but yeah, 56.1 million visits, currently 57 active, not bad numbers, but still, you know, it's not the greatest, not as good as Survive the Disasters Classics numbers. But, you know, this game was made in 2014, so yeah, these numbers are going to be a bit high. It's actually got an update as of recently, about 20 days ago, and so yeah, it's obviously still supported. I don't see why it wouldn't be, considering this is the sequel. This should be supported, and I don't really see any third games, and I haven't seen news of any third game existing. But yeah, we're going to take a look at the subscription passes now, and right now, it's only listing these 3, but there are more. And of course, you can tell with this price, it's not meant to be bought. but I'm assuming, okay, yeah, I guess this game is going to get another update soon that will actually revamp the game, and hopefully that'll bring in more people. But looking at these two other game passes here, you've got a game pass that gives you more power to your vote for a map, and a permanent double coins bonus, so that's pretty nice. And I'm assuming that would stack with the weekend bonuses of coins. But like I mentioned before, with the badges, this game has a lot more badges to obtain, and I'm just going to skim over them. You could go ahead and pause the video, but I'm not going to go ahead and explain these. I will admit I've only tried this game for like a couple minutes total. I haven't really gone into this. You know, I haven't spent more than a couple rounds here. But yeah, you've also got some event badges here, and I will note that some of these badges are broken. You can see here, like, surely there's got to be someone who has survived at least 100 times by now since this game's been out since like 2014, and yet no one has ever gotten that badge. But I'm sure people have actually, you know, done that accomplishment. You can also see here, this one, level 5, you would assume someone would have at least had this by now, but no. So yeah, a couple of these badges are broken and aren't distributing correctly, but hopefully the revamp fixes that. But yeah, you can see a lot of these, you know, they don't really function as intended, but some of them do. I have no idea what this is, but I'm assuming it's some kind of special event or, you know, rare round. So, with all that being said, all that being looked at, also they got a Twitter going on if you want to check that out. Let's go ahead and hop into the game. So, once this finishes loading, okay, so you've actually got a GUI here, which is pretty nice. You can now actually tweak these settings here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off most of that, and hopefully I can, you know, actually I'm just going to leave the audio off for now. No in-game audio, because it does tend to go louder than my voice. Anyways, you've got hardcore mode here as well, so, you know, harder games, harder rounds. Of course, you do have to reach a certain level rank, which I will be looking at as well soon once we get into the game here. And they've also got a more competitive mode here for people who are better at surviving, I guess I should say. But yeah, two modes here for that are just generally harder modes, and then of course the basic mode here, which I'm sure is very similar to the last game we looked at. So yeah, we've got daily logins, which is kind of nice. Very good to see that. You got the same kind of spawn as the last one. You can just spawn in whenever. I'm assuming when you die, you also just drop down, based on how this guy's just been here for a while, I'm guessing. But yeah, we've also got some new maps, a bit more detail, I guess you could say. I don't really know if you would count this as detail, but at the same time, you do have to remember that you can't really have anything complex going on. As for these trees, these are a bit more detailed, in fact, but I don't know if you guys could have seen this earlier, but there does seem to be a barrier here. Yeah, it does just cut off, so these are never going to get damaged, hence why they are more detailed. You don't really have to worry about those. But these things, these do tend to get destroyed. You can see a pretty good example over here. This has been demolished by this point. It's been demolished, and it's all been made up of simple parts that break easily. And you kind of want these things to happen because when it breaks, you don't want it, you know, lagging out the game. So you don't want too many parts, but you also don't want, you know, too basic of a map. So yeah, going around here, this does seem to be a lot more detailed, which is kind of odd that this is here, but I'm assuming that this doesn't break. Oh, and it seems like they've actually got apples that heal you, so that's a pretty cool detail here with this map. As for the disasters, you can actually see they go more in depth. You know, you've got this going on here. They move a lot differently than just simple NPCs chasing you around. Like that guy just popped out of nowhere, and they're just teleporting everywhere. Pretty cool. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and die here just to show you that the spawn still works as it usually has. Just kill myself right there. But yeah, you can just spawn right back in. Obviously, you won't be counted for surviving, as you can see here in this player leaderboard. It actually highlights the people who died and who haven't. Along with that, it also notes, you know, coins people have, survivals, total survivals people have, and their streaks of waves survived. And as I mentioned before, shortly before, you got those letter ranks. So as soon as I reach, I believe it was rank A, I'll be able to play those harder modes. But moving on from that, we're going to go ahead and try to make our way over to the shop here. Oh, and before I forget, I should mention that these guys have actually decided to give us the speed and gravity coil for free now, whenever you spawn in, so that's nice. Makes the game a lot more fun. a lot less grindy. Also, I'm assuming the coins actually transfer between servers. In the previous game, you would have this currency called points, and they don't really transfer between servers. Once you leave, you lose all your points. But now you actually get to keep them. You can also select the stages, as we saw with that Game Pass where you can vote on maps. Currently, my vote is only worth 1 vote, but if you have the Game Pass, it would be worth 3. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick this map here so I can look at this stuff. You got the same gears as the last game, but you've also got a couple of different ones, like this one. This was not in the last game. It was actually just called Cheeseburger, but now it is the Rotten Cheeseburger. It seems like our map just switched out, so that's kind of nice. You can see a lot more detail here with these. But yeah, rounded objects, but I'm assuming these also don't break. And you can actually see that they're pretty odd to look at from the inside because they're transparent on the inside, but on the outside you don't really get to see through them. So not the greatest, but definitely a lot more detailed. But still just keeping that same style of simplicity. You'll see all those nice statues over there. But yeah, those things I'm assuming just don't break at all. They stay in the same place, except for those pots, I guess, which move around for some reason. But they are pretty simple, so I guess it does make sense for them to move. Just a little bit odd to look at. But yeah, moving on from that, we're going to go ahead and head into the shop again, take a quick look at these things. I believe those right here. Yeah, we've got the gears here, a couple new ones, a couple different ones, but generally the same thing. This is actually carried over Game Pass, as well as this one, and I believe it was the Silver Ninja Stars. I cannot seem to find them, but yeah, you've got these other Ninja Stars at least, and you can actually buy these without having to spend Robux. You also got a couple other tools, carried over tools, the laser gun, the pew pew gun as they call it. Just go ahead and head back into the shop because I just got teleported out again. But yeah, carried over, gravity coil. You got the carried over cheeseburger, but you've also got this new one, the rotten cheeseburger, or cheeseburger. I have no idea how you guys would pronounce it, but I'm just going to say cheeseburger to keep it simple. And they've also got a gacha system in the game here. So you can spend money to get these orbs, which you can use to upgrade the gears you buy. For example, right now, if I open up the menu, go to the upgrade gear tab, I can upgrade my gravity coil if I have certain orbs. Since I have barely played this game, I don't have any orbs. And looking here on the Roblox shop, you can see a whole lot more things you can buy. You got VIP Pass in here, which wasn't actually listed in the game's Game Pass list, but it is listed here, so that is nice. Let's say you can buy coins, you can buy the VIP packs, you can buy these 3 gears that carried over from the last game. I don't know where you'd find the Silver Ninja Star in this shop, but maybe I just skipped over it, missed it. But yeah, you've also, I want to mention that this shop is a lot more detailed. They've also got the leaderboard over here now, for, I'm assuming, globally. I don't think these people are on our server. Yeah, so this is the global leaderboard for weekly survivals. So currently of this week, this person has survived the most out of everyone here. So yeah, it's pretty cool. You've got streaks for high streaks of survival, and so on. But yeah, it seems like a huge fog just came in, so I have no idea what's going on. Doesn't look okay. Yeah, it definitely doesn't look safe. But the disasters have definitely gone up in quality. As you can see, you've actually got a boss fight going on, essentially what this is. I am going to die, so I'm just going to back up a bit and take a look at the menu here, because we did only look at the upgrade gear here, but there is more. So we got the pacifist mode here, which actually makes your game harder because it will remove your gears, but you also trade that in for getting a bonus whenever you do survive. And from there you've got the play hardcore, so if you are the certain rank they require for this, I believe it was A rank, you can play the hardcore mode. You've got disaster memos, which I'm pretty sure is just special items you can get around during the maps or rounds to collect them. You can see here, we've got all these memos here. I'm not really sure what these are, actually, I'm going to be honest, but you've got that going on. Got this little coin going on here, just pick that up. And of course you've got the settings, I think we've already looked at that. Let's see, and of course the other final button for playing the other mode that was mentioned when we spawned in. But with that being said, I believe that covers everything this has to offer. Well, not everything, but if I'm going to be honest, there's a whole lot this game has to offer. And I implore you to check this game out for yourself, because this is a pretty good game that I think Oh my, I just ran right into that. But I think this is a really good game, and you guys should definitely check this out because it is well worth the time. A lot more detail. I prefer the second one, but of course, more people seem to play the classic one. I don't know why that still happens, but hopefully by the time the revamp comes around, this will be a lot more populated game because this seems really fun. I definitely see huge potential in this. It's just a matter of the advertising and cleaning up some of the mess that this game still has going on. Particularly, with this, oh, that is my fault. But with the shop here, these guys, kind of odd to see them here in force fields, but they are humanoids. They're making those little waving animations. I don't know if you guys caught that, but yeah, you gotta keep them safe. Apparently, they put them in visible force fields, uh, which is a bit odd to look at. But yeah, those are humanoids. They do gotta keep them safe. So obviously, they're gonna make them invincible. As you can just see right there, like a person made a little animation. But yeah, with all that being said, I think that finishes off this video. Oh my. Wow, okay. That is definitely chaotic and devastating. Anyways, I think I will just end it right here. I'll pick this up, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.